Bless him with a cross route.
I got you.
Thanks to Next Gen Stats, you really move like Jarvis every day.
ACC Network Women's Basketball is presented by Food Lion. This is our home. That's our Food Lion. Welcome to Atlanta and the home of the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets, McCamish Pavilion, where today you are in for a treat as the Georgia Lady Bulldogs come to town for some clean, old-fashioned hate. Yes, that's what they call the rivalry. Georgia has dominated it, but last year, my goodness, Nell Fortner's Yellow Jackets went into Athens, got their first ever win on the road, and their biggest win in the series. Hey everybody, I'm Jen Hildreth. So delighted to be here alongside former Clemson sharpshooter Kelly Gramlich. And this matchup today, Kelly, I think the word that we kept hearing getting ready for it was grateful.
That's right, Jen, and we're grateful to be here. This is a rivalry game. There's nothing better than an early season rivalry matchup. And this game is very important for both teams. You need 13 games to qualify for the NCAA tournament. I know that is a goal for both of these squads.
Well, let's take a look at a couple of the players that you're keeping an eye on today.
Lorella Kubai, she is the senior leader for this Georgia Tech team, especially in the paint. She is a physical player. She's gritty, she's tough. She can score off the bounce. She even has a nice sky hook in her repertoire as well that she can utilize. And get this, she can knock down the three. She's a true modern post, and Tech is going to need a big game with her, with Kiera Fletcher out. On the flip side, it's Gabby Connolly, the senior point guard for the Georgia Bulldogs. She averaged nearly 13 points per game last year. Their returning leading scorer can knock down the three, can attack the basket, a really good distributor, and it's going to be the senior in Connolly versus the freshman McQueen for Georgia Tech.
Things may look a little bit different on the sideline, on the benches, in our broadcast booth, a little further away than we're used to, being courtside, now up a little section all by ourselves. Lots of plexiglass, but the good news is we got some basketball coming your way.
That's exactly right, Jen. We're here. They're about to throw the ball up. There are times where I thought we would not be able to play some basketball this year, but we're doing it.
Georgia will start off with the basketball, and you can bet a little bit of revenge in the hearts of these Lady Bulldogs after that win by Georgia Tech in Athens last year, 73-40. Starting five for the Yellow Jackets. No Kiera Fletcher, have yet to see her. So Loyal McQueen, the freshman you talked about, starting at the point, and then so much grit and heart on that Georgia Tech team, especially in Kubai, Lurmai Lahtinen, Hermosa, a returning starter, and Sarah Bates, three-point shooter, getting into that starting lineup this year.
That was a great job by Q Morrison to double down. They didn't really bring a full double on Kubai there, but Q Morrison getting her hands. Look, when a big post player brings the ball down, she allows a guard to get that ball on her level. That was a really heads-up play by the senior.
Speaking of seniors, 4 of them returning as starters, not just seniors, super seniors, if you will, for Georgia. Graduate students in this starting five, so a ton of experience for Joni Taylor. Here is Lahtinen coming off her second career double-double and Georgia Tech season opening win on Wednesday against Georgia State. Lahtinen from the free throw line had it tipped. McQueen will take the shot. No fear in this freshman.
McQueen is not shy, Jen, that's for sure. She was 1 for 6 from beyond the arc in their opener against Georgia State. She is aggressive, but she has to know when to pick her spots, especially shooting the three.
Those 2 points for right there for Gabby Connolly. Mark them down, now 1,000 in her career.
An incredible accomplishment, and she gets it done right off the bat, Jen. We didn't have to wait very long.
You talked about what a talented scorer Connolly is in so many ways. The senior out of San Antonio, Texas.
She's so quick with the ball. Keep an eye on her, especially at the top of the key when she attacks. Georgia Tech's going to have to make a decision. Are they going to help off and leave open some shooters, or are they going to stay home and then Connolly's going to beat them that way? She is the head of the snake for Georgia.
10 on the shot clock now for the Jackets. Still looking for their first points in the game. Lotman passes to McQueen. Bates takes the three. A little short off the front of the rim. Joe Vasili, Carla Fountain, Safe Esho, our referee crew today.
40th player in Georgia history. That is a lot of players that have scored 1,000 points. Speaks to the illustrious tradition they have down there in Athens.
And it's a real challenge too, Kelly, something we'll be watching for today. Nell Fortner, very short-handed in terms of who she has available. So how Georgia Tech defends this Georgia team is going to be key. They can't afford to get anybody in foul trouble.
No doubt about that. And Georgia has gone at Kubai early with Stati on that recent possession. But you know, in Kubai's mind, she's thinking, I cannot pick up 2 early fouls. We were talking about that before the broadcast. And I'm sure Nell Fortner has hammered that point home for her throughout practice, because they're without Kiera Fletcher and without a few more key pieces, they might only play 7 today.
Yeah, only 7 scholarship players available. Anissa Clark, the walk-on, another player who could potentially come off the bench if needed, but Anaya Boyd, the freshman, has still not been able to play. She's hurt. And Aviance Carter, another freshman, was hurt in the first game. And right now, Georgia Tech just having trouble getting a good look, aren't they?
They are, and it's a lot of half-court offense. They're a little stagnant right now, and that's where you miss Kiera Fletcher. She can create her own shot. The only other player on this squad, Lo McQueen can, but she's a little erratic because she's a freshman. There's Fletcher standing over in the new bench area that we have now with COVID. But McQueen or Lotman, they have to be a little more aggressive outside.
Jackets 0 for 5 to start this one. 5 on the shot clock. Lotman took some contact, and it looks like the foul was called.
And that's a good job by Lotman. That's what I'm referring to. Lotman is a junior. She's a player that in some ways reminds me of Pon. She's crafty, she can shoot it, she's a very smart player. Pon last year, 13 points per game, 4 rebounds, she made 45 threes. You can't just replace Pon with one player, but I think Lotman is going to have to be that veteran guard that steps up for them and takes over the brunt of those scoring numbers. I think she's going to need to average around 11 or 12 this year.
I think one thing for this Georgia Tech team is, and it's led by Lotman and Kubai, just how hard they work. So you know you're going to get that. That's consistent. Are you going to get those points to follow with it? Connolly looking inside to Sadie, off the glass and in.
There's 2 players that have played together for a long time right there. Beautiful pass from Connolly, went straight from her dribble to the pass, so the defense didn't know what was coming. Throw it up to Stati and let her go to work.
How good was she at the end of last season when the season was cut short for everyone, as Georgia Tech gets Kubai on the glass and in. But Stady really finished strong last year.
She did, and we talked to Coach Taylor about that, and it was pretty simple. Stady came to Taylor and said, I think I can do more. And Coach said, do more. That's exactly what the conversation was described to us as. And Stady, I think she saw, look, my time's running out, right? I'm only going to have a year and a half left. When she was making her run last March, when she was playing really well, when she averaged 20 and 10 over a 9-game span in SEC play. And she's off to a really good start so far today.
That connection has been a good one so far for Georgia. Connolly to Stady. Shot clock running down. You said that she could hit the 3. Kubai proves you right.
Kubai doing it all so far for Georgia Tech. She has 5 of their 7 points, and you have to guard her out there, Jen. It makes it for a very tough guard, especially for a player like Stady, who really isn't used to guarding her opponent outside the 3-point line. We'll see if they exploit that more with Kubai, because Kubai can take her off the dribble too if they bring her out like that.
Nice block on the other end for Kubai. Hermosa.
Great defense by Q Morrison getting over that dribble handoff.
McQueen to the basket and in.
McQueen is going to be a player to watch in this league for years to come. Just a freshman, was the South Carolina Gatorade Player of the Year, and she's showing it so far. Oh, she wanted that one, Jen. Good. That's a good decision to pull it out right there.
Can tell the freshman wants to go, 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 but that was one of the keys for Nell Fortner that she talked to us about. She's got to make the right choice.
Look at Kubai, no quit in her, and she's getting back up and down the floor. Kubai might play 40 minutes today. 40 minutes today with how aggressive she is inside. She's going to have to conserve her energy a little bit, I would imagine.
She looks great, though, doesn't she? I'd say the best physically that maybe she's looked her entire career starting off this season. I think that's 3 straight possessions, Kelly, that Georgia's settled for those outside jumpers. They've gotten none of them to go.
They were getting the ball into Stacey early, but Georgia Tech has packed it in. They're forcing Georgia to take threes, and Georgia Tech is just fine with that in a half-court situation.
McQueen to the basket, tough shot. Heads up play by Q Morrison.
Officials timeout.
And a good start for the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. They lead Georgia by 3 as we take a quick break.
Kapow! A mobile plan that blows away those high price plans. Boost Mobile's all new Shrink It plan. The longer you stay, the less you pay. Watch your bill shrink to $35 a month after just 6 on-time payments. Plus, get a free LG Style 06 when you switch on our new upgraded network, Boost Mobile.
Everything you need to make the holidays feel magical with a little help from HP. When you buy any HP Envy printer this holiday season, get 3 months of free access to Canva Pro and 3 months of free instant ink. Now through January 15th, happy crafting.
This just the second game of the season for both Georgia and Georgia Tech, both picking up wins in their openers on Wednesday. And gosh, Kelly, if you look back at last year, the numbers pretty similar for what these two teams accomplished.
The numbers are very similar. Georgia Tech, a better rebounding team, and that's a key for Georgia today. Georgia scored a little more, they play a little faster, but look at those three-point numbers, Jen. Neither of these teams are going to make a living beyond the arc, and Georgia's so far 0 for 4. That's an issue, as you pointed out. They can't just keep settling for threes. They've got to attack the basket. Try to get Kubai in foul trouble. She already has 1 foul.
4 straight missed field goals by the Lady Bulldogs. It's like Mallory Bates has come on for Georgia, and there's a nice drive to the basket. Morrison has her first points.
She played really well in the opener against Mercer, 13 points. She tore her ACL 2 seasons ago and has struggled a bit to come back from that, but she looks good so far.
Back door is open for Georgia Tech. Lattinen taking advantage. Georgia trying to do the same on the other end, and Morrison has a couple back-to-back, and then actually that is Bates who just came off the bench. So Mallory Bates, the 6'3" redshirt junior, into the scoring, and Georgia within 1. Three goes down for Sarah Bates, her appropriately numbered jersey. Sharpshooter for Georgia Tech. Could help those 3-point numbers this year, Kelly.
You'll notice, Jen, I bet 3 is the most popular number for shooters around there because they think in terms of 3. I can relate to that, but that was a great pass by Kubai on the other end. She drew a double team and hit her shooter across court.
Were you 3?
I was 5, actually.
Okay.
But there's a lot of 3s out there, you'll see.
I believe you.
Tech foul charge, team number 11.
Foul on the floor, and that is from one of Nell Fortner's very few subs available. Aisawon Aranz, the transfer from Ohio State.
Beautiful pass by Kubai as we take another look at that 3. And that's buckets there from Sarah Bates. Barely hit the net. She's the transfer from Kansas State, and Nell Fortner describes her as a shooter. She's out there to do one thing, stretch the floor, knock down shots when you get open looks, and she is doing that so far in this game.
Michaela Coombs, transfer from UConn. And I know Joni Taylor and Georgia fans really excited to see what she can do. This her first year eligible to play for Georgia. If you're hearing a lot of different names, that is a luxury that Georgia has that Georgia Tech does not today. We'll see if that makes a difference as we continue on in this one. Aranz fouled as she attempts her shot.
Lady Bulldogs foul.
A little bit of a late call there on Bates. I thought that might have been clean. Bates, a very long redshirt junior, 6'3". Let's take another look. There was some contact there. You see the forearm of Bates getting into Aranaz there.
Juan Aranaz from Pamplona, Spain, by way of Ohio State. Nell Portner talking about just needing to find her confidence a bit more on the offensive end. Wide open is Javin Nicholson, and the sophomore coming off a great game. She led Georgia on Wednesday, 15.7 rebounds off the bench in their win against Mercer.
She played a lot in that game, Jen. Stacey was out with some back spasms, and she stepped up, so we'll see if she can build on that in this game.
And Q Morrison got up for that rebound. Fouled as she came back down to the floor. That'll be the first against Lahtinen.
Q Morrison is the ultimate glue player for this Georgia team. Joni Taylor describes her as by far their best defender. She can rebound, she can distribute, she's tough as nails. If you really watch her on a couple possessions, you'll see she does so many little things for this Bulldog team.
Nicholson, jumper is good.
I have a feeling Nicholson, after her Mercer performance, wanted to be in that starting lineup, and she's trying to prove it right now to Coach Taylor. Hey, I need a few more minutes, because she, from the jump, the second she got in, she's made an impact.
It's a good way to do it. Lahtinen for three. Coombs had the rebound, but couldn't hang on, lost it out of bounds, so Georgia Tech will get it back.
There's been a little more of a focus for Georgia after that timeout to get the ball and go, to run a little more. Again, Georgia Tech, 7 scholarship players today. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that you're going to want to run Tech up and down the floor and try to wear them out throughout this game.
Well, that's a little part of Georgia's DNA anyway, right? With Joni Taylor in particular, that's something she emphasized, and so they certainly want to run, and you're right, why wouldn't you push the tempo a bit? That's what they want. Georgia Tech definitely wants a slower game, and now that was the second personal on Lahtinen, and she picked up the offensive foul.
That's huge for Georgia Tech. We know how important Lahtinen is to them on both sides of the floor. So now Bates is going to be called upon to play some more minutes, and Lily Love, the true freshman.
Under a minute to play in our first quarter. Georgia looking for the lead and get it with Morrison.
Beautiful finish with the left hand. Made that look too easy for everyone at home, because that's not as easy as it looks, the way Q Morrison finished.
That basket stopped a 6-0 run from Georgia as Hermosa has her first points. Up and down we go. Georgia trying to take that lead right back. Lady Bulldogs now have to play some defense.
That is not the shot you want in that situation. They should have run a lot more time off the clock. I know you want to play fast if you're Georgia, but that possession should have been Georgia holding the ball at the top and trying to get the last shot in the quarter.
6.7 seconds on the clock. Foul against Nicholson is what gives Georgia Tech the ball into the basket. Bates couldn't get it. Now we'll see, Kelly, if Georgia executes for a better shot. They will get a chance to end this first quarter with the lead if they can make a bucket.
That was a great athletic play by Coombs. Just long wings. Georgia loves having these long wings defensively on the perimeter.
Finally lost the handle, ran out of time, and Georgia Tech will hang on to a slim 1-point lead in this great rivalry in women's basketball.
Hold up. Thought we were done bringing it wrong. Let the spokesman demonstrate. Nuke, drop some heat on him.
I got you.
You know what we call that?
Next-gen stats innovation. They play like they do in the NFL innovation.
Andre Hopkins sound like he'll stutter step through your screen innovation. This generation changed the game out there. So Madden had to change it up in here.
You ain't never felt Madden like this before.
Sometimes you need a friend.
Everything you need to make the holidays feel magical with a little help from HP. When you buy any HP Envy printer this holiday season, get 3 months of free access to Canva Pro and 3 months of free instant ink. Now through January 15th, happy crafting.
ACC Network Women's Basketball is presented by Food Lion. This is our home, that's our Food Lion. After one quarter in Atlanta, the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets leading Georgia by a point. And one of the challenges for Georgia Tech this year coming in, Kelly, was figuring out how to replace a very talented player, do-it-all type player in Francesca Pond.
Francesca Pond, look, she didn't just score the ball, even though she did that really well, and she had a great ACC tournament when Georgia Tech played well in Greensboro in that last normal event, if you will. But the leadership that Pond brought, the toughness, the tenacity from the guard spot. Kubai brings that toughness inside, as I've alluded to, but Pond outside, she set the tone for the guards, both offensively and defensively. And I think Lottinen can do that a little bit. She's not as vocal, but you also just saw Kiera Fletcher there with her boot on. They're missing Fletcher for sure, because she's going to be the one that I think is going to step up and score for Tech this year.
I have a feeling, Kelly, that the message from Joni Taylor at that break might have been, go inside.
You have to attack this Georgia Tech team for so many reasons. Again, lack of players, but Georgia has serious size. They are so long, and I'm glad we're getting to see it in person, because besides Connolly at 5'6", everyone else is basically 6 foot, and that's what they like to do in this Georgia program. Use that size and run.
Nice combination, and Nicholson, who just hit inside, showing she at least feels like she's got the range too.
Georgia still hasn't knocked down a 3. 0 for 5, a team that shot just 28% from beyond the arc last year.
Five points in the game for Kubai. 4 for Lottinen to lead Georgia Tech.
Lottinen still on the bench with those 2 fouls. They're missing her right now, but I understand Coach Fortner can't afford to play her right now. If she picks up that 3rd, it could be costly.
Coombs, little strong. Moyle McQueen, the freshman out of Florence, South Carolina, saw an opening. Wasn't afraid to take the deep 3. Gatorade South Carolina Player of the Year a year ago in high school. Georgia ready to run. They get it inside to Bates, and she is fouled.
That was a good pass, but an even better catch by Bates in transition. That's tougher than you think, and Bates looks like a phenomenal athlete the way that she's playing right now.
You can see coming up next, we've got number 22 Notre Dame. Get a chance to see new head coach Niele Ivey taking on Miami of Ohio. That's at Purcell Pavilion in South Bend, right here on ACCN and the ESPN app.
If Tech thinks they're injured, they should go look at Notre Dame's current roster, because Notre Dame is missing 3 starters due to injury. So this year, it's not just COVID. We think of COVID as the main reason why certain players might be held out of games, but the injury bug has attacked some of these ACC teams early in the season.
Georgia Tech being one of them, for sure. But I feel like Notre Dame probably feels like they should have had all those injury problems. Like, they got them all out of the way the last couple years, right? But not so. 10-2 run by the Lady Bulldogs. Only net that time, and not in a good way for Kubai. A little short.
Kubai looking a little frustrated. One of the best things about Kubai is that she is an emotional player, and she is Tech's emotional leader. But because she is that true north, if you will, for Tech this year without Pond, she's got to work on controlling her emotions as well, so that the other teammates can follow.
Sarah Ashley Barker, freshman out of Birmingham, Alabama, missing on that attempt. She was the Player of the Year in Alabama a year ago. And as Georgia has opened up this 3-point lead, just one made field goal in the last 5 minutes for the Yellow Jackets.
not having Lottman on the floor has really hurt Tech.
She's got 2 fouls, so Nell Fortner trying to be careful there. They're going to need minutes and production from that player right there, Lily Love.
Lily Love, a good-looking freshman, 6'1", has size, a 4-star prospect. Only her 2nd game, so she doesn't have the experience of Lottman, but she is a skilled player on the wing.
Pull-up jumper is good. That's Morrison, she has 6.
Textbook from Q Morrison, 3 for 6 from the field. She is so solid for them, and I mean that in the best way. She does all the little things. She's not going to make mistakes.
Rons trying to work it with Hermosa in the paint. Jump ball, it'll stay with Georgia Tech. Hermosa, 6'5", sophomore out of Vitoria, Spain, and did start 15 games last season, but I think Georgia Tech's still waiting for her to come out of her shell a little bit.
When you compare her to Kabai, which sometimes you just have to because they're on the same team and play basically the same position, Hermosa needs to work on just being a little more physical, right? A little more mean inside. Kabai has no problem with that, but Hermosa, to your point, Jen, needs to come out of her shell a little more, and she will. Look, she's only a sophomore, she's a young player, and she's being asked to do a lot right now with those Tech injuries.
Kubai getting a brief rest. As you said, we might see her play 40. I don't think she'll be there very long. She's out, Lottman comes back in. I would think if you're Nell Fortner, you're gonna make sure you have at least one of those 2 on the floor at all times.
And I know she trusts Lottman. There are certain players, especially younger players, you wouldn't trust them to play with 2 fouls. But Lottman is one on this roster that I think Coach Fortner, if she had to pick someone, she would trust her to play with those 2.
Junior out of Helsinki, Finland. Started all but 1 game a year ago. And Mon Aranaz, excuse me. Practice on her pronunciation. She challenges me, but she got the bucket. Stady on the other end.
Stady, so skilled. She's been quiet. They haven't gotten her the ball that much since the 1st quarter, but that was smooth as can be.
Hermosa. Got around Stady for 2.
Beautiful. That time Connolly dug in on Hermosa, but they didn't bring a full double on Hermosa like they would on Kubai. Tech trying to run a little bit here, Jen.
Yep, got the opportunity. We'll see if Lottman slows it down. Wanted to go inside again. And Hermosa fouled.
Bulldogs foul charge number 20.
We'll go against Jordan Isaacs, the 6-foot sophomore from Alpharetta, Georgia.
There's some of that battle and fight from Hermosa. There are some players, you know, Kubai shows it on her face, right? She shows her emotions. Some players are different. Some players can still be aggressive without showing it to the opposing team, and I respect that as well.
Easy 2 for Connolly after her great work on the defensive end.
Georgia now in some pressure, denying the ball. A little bit of faux pressure, so they deny the ball. And look, they're also trying to deny the pass back to Lottman. They're going to make another guard initiate the offense. And now Lottman finally gets it, but it's still tougher for Tech to get in their offense.
A couple of steps taken by Bates, turns it over. You know, interesting. Connolly had that early basket, and then that last one she scored last time down the floor, that was just her 2nd basket of the game, but her Georgia team leading Georgia Tech by 3.
Hold up. You thought we were done bringing heat? Wrong. Let the spokes player demonstrate. Nuke, drop some heat on him.
I got you.
You know what we call that?
Next-gen stats innovation. They play like they do in the NFL innovation.
DeAndre Hopkins sound like he'll stutter step through your screen innovation. This generation changed the game out there. So Madden had to change it up in here.
You ain't never felt Madden like this before.
Sometimes you need a friend.
Georgia in front by 3 points over Georgia Tech. And if you're enjoying some women's basketball, well, we've got more hoops coming your way. Tuesday, it's a men's college basketball doubleheader right here on the ACC Network and the ESPN app. Number 4, Virginia, looking to bounce back after that shocking upset against San Francisco Friday night. They'll take on St. Francis of Pennsylvania at 4 Eastern. Then 2-0 Louisville hosts the 2-1 Hilltoppers at the KFC Yum Center. It is so fun to finally get talking some basketball, and for Georgia, the basketball team this year just chock full of senior leadership.
This is a hungry team. These players coming back, almost all of them have graduated. All 4 of these players have graduated. And it's NCAA tournament or bust for them. That is their goal right now. Last year, they were predicted to be a 10 seed in the tournament. That did not happen. And as we said in the open, every game is important this year. You don't know how many you're going to get. This win would help each of these teams' resumes going forward.
Maya Caldwell, one of those seniors, off the glass is good.
Maya Caldwell.
Georgia is just so deep. You've got a talented 5'11" senior on the wing who hadn't scored until that bucket, had only taken 2 shots. It's almost tough to keep track because Georgia, they're kind of like a hockey team. They just rotate them in and out.
5 points, the largest lead for Georgia in this game so far. Good hands by Barker. We saw both Connolly and Morrison getting a little break on the bench when we were talking about the seniors.
Sarah Ashley Barker, true freshman, we've mentioned, Gatorade Player of the Year in Alabama. That's how you earn more minutes. Defensive plays like that. She got on the floor earlier, got a tip there, denying hard in 1 pass away. She's doing a good job of finding a way to stay on the floor and earn a few more minutes.
Off the glass. Jackets trying to capitalize and can't.
Tech foul charge to number 13, Lorella Kubai.
Lorella Kubai picking up her second personal.
Great move by Kubai. Ball just didn't fall. You've got Hermosa. A great move by Hermosa. Missing a couple easy bunnies inside is Georgia Tech. And when they play those two together, Kubai and Hermosa, 6'4" and 6'5". That's great for Tech in the half court. But to me, that's when Georgia wants to try to run the most. And now, of course, Kubai is out. But you can exploit that if you're Georgia.
Ooh, how about that spin move from Coombs on the other end?
There is no ceiling for Coombs. That's what Joni Taylor was telling us. She's a former Gatorade Player of the Year in Georgia. I feel like Gatorade should sponsor this game. There's so many Gatorade Players of the Year. She went to UConn, didn't play that much, and was in Gino's system, but came back home, sat out last year. They're expecting big things from Coombs.
The 6-0 run as Georgia continues to extend its lead. Coombs on her way to the basket again, keeps that lead going.
So smooth, attacking the basket, 1 dribble, kind of flies in the air to score, just makes it look so easy. It shouldn't be that easy, but that's what Coombs is doing for Georgia.
Yeah, Nell Fortner wanting a timeout.
You thought we were done bringing heat? Wrong. Let the spokes player demonstrate. Hey, yo, Juice, bless him with a cross route.
I got you.
Thanks to Next Gen Stats, you really move like Jarvis every day.
Some heated words in that Georgia Tech huddle, and you can understand why, Kelly.
This is a pivotal moment for Georgia Tech. This game is getting a little out of hand for them. Georgia up 9, Tech without a lot of numbers, and Georgia's playing with a ton of confidence right now. Tech needs to score, take it 1 possession at a time, but they have to get some points here. They've only scored 6 points in the quarter. Georgia's on an 8-0 run. This is a pivotal moment, Jen.
We'll see how the Jackets respond out of that timeout. No Kubai, no Lahtinen on the floor.
The back door was working earlier for Tech, but Georgia has shut that down right now.
McQueen trying to drive, had two Georgia defenders who were much taller, couldn't get through them.
And you're noticing that size for Georgia. They are so long. They remind me, some ACC fans might know these references, but Duke does this too, and we'll see what they do under Kara Lawson. But they recruit such long athletes that you really, Connolly's 5'6", but beyond that, everyone can almost guard 1 through 5 for Georgia.
Georgia has made 5 straight field goals now. Coombs has done a lot of that work. She has 7 points. McQueen. That's a big bucket. They needed it. See if Georgia Tech could figure something out without their 2 leaders on the floor.
This is indicative of where Tech is. When they need a bucket super badly, they're going to a true freshman. But that's where they are right now. And that was a great play by Loyal McQueen. Some emotion afterwards. Not sure how she finished with contact, but Tech going to a true freshman in moments like this.
Get the latest news and information from the ACC each morning with special guests from the world of sports. You know where. It's Packer and Durham. Weekdays, 7 a.m. Eastern on ACCN and the ESPN app. Okay, so check on the offensive end. It worked out well that time for Georgia Tech. Let's see what they can do defensively this time, as Georgia really seems to have gotten into a groove. Barker for 3, too strong. Bodies flying in the paint area. Looks like this will go against Georgia Tech. And that is the 3rd against Lahtinen, who just came back on the floor for Georgia Tech.
You can't have that if you're Tech. That's 3 for Lahtinen. There's no way she's coming back in this half. I just would be shocked. So they're going to have to get to halftime without her and maybe play some of that 3rd quarter without her as well.
We talked about it earlier, but Georgia Tech severely limited due to injuries today. Just 7 scholarship players available. Messy sequence results in Georgia keeping the ball. 8 seconds on the shot clock.
Gonna need a quick hitter here. I would imagine, even though Tech is in that 2-3 zone, some ball screen action for your ball handler would be ideal. Or just pull up. Just pull up.
That didn't work out exactly the way Morrison was hoping. McQueen lost it.
But a lot of control for the freshman. What a pass.
Beautiful teamwork by Georgia, but even better defense by Georgia Tech.
That's how you negate a pass like that. You take a charge, and this was risky. Kubai has 2 fouls. Excellent work of getting outside the restricted area, set her feet. It doesn't get much better than that. They need to clip that and put that in a teaching video, Jen, on how to take a charge. That was beautiful.
That's brave, though. I mean, 2 fouls, as you said, on Kubai. You've already lost Lahtinen, most likely, for the remainder of the half, and perhaps longer.
In that scenario, though, as a player, you're not thinking about the fouls. Even though you should be, that's instinct right there for Kubai. And most of the time, if you trust your instincts, it's going to pay off.
Georgia Tech cutting into that Georgia lead.
They're asking McQueen to do a lot right now.
Love, offensive foul on this end. Morrison says, I see what you did down there. I can draw that too.
Love was out of control, so that helped the referee make the call. And good defense by Q Morrison. Look how she moves her feet, gets in position, takes the charge. 2 veteran players back and forth, Kubai and Morrison, with heads-up plays.
Morrison, a member of the SEC all-defensive team a year ago. Tough pass. Morrison did really well to hang on. Inside to Stady, easy 2.
Wonderful pass by Barker, the freshman. She made an errant pass to Morrison. Her senior kept it alive for her. And speaking of instinct, that's a play that you just know how to make. You see your post player open, don't think about it, Barker, make the play, and it paid off.
Under 30 seconds to play in our first half. Georgia Tech led by 8 points after the first quarter. Second quarter has run more favorably for Georgia. Lady Bulldogs looking to avenge that loss on their home floor. Last year, the first ever loss against Georgia Tech in Athens. The Jackets looking to run, basket, and the free throw.
Momentum changer right there for Georgia Tech. They double Stady, they get the turnover. That is a good pass by Loyal McQueen leading the break. And Bates says, I know I'm getting hit. I'm gonna put this ball up there. She finishes with contact. What a play by the redshirt junior, and gets a chance to get 3 points the Naismith way.
Bates took 6 shots in the first game for Georgia Tech. Every single one of them was from 3. This time she gets a chance, as you said, to earn her 3 points. And Morrison at the same time picking up her second personal for Georgia. Final seconds on the clock. Barker. Was a whistle on the floor.
Almost didn't hear that whistle.
I didn't either. So McQueen charged with the foul. It was on the floor. Not, I believe it was a shooting foul, but
they're in the bonus.
Yeah. So 2 shots coming.
Oh, Nell Fortner is so frustrated with that foul call. You foul on the floor, you put him in the bonus and give Georgia possibly 2 points when you had all the momentum in the world on the other end.
Freshman knocks them both down, extends the lead to 7. The heave from half court, not gonna go for Georgia Tech, and the Jackets trail the Lady Bulldogs as we finish half number 1 in Atlanta. Well, coming up at the half, stick around. Our ladies from ACC Network will tell you what to expect in ACC women's hoops this season. Welcome back to McCamish Pavilion. ACC Network Women's Basketball presented by Food Lion. It is a 7-point lead for the visitors from up north in Athens. Georgia leading Georgia Tech 39-32. As we take a look back at some of the highlights from the first half, and Georgia Kelly getting a lot of production off their bench.
And specifically in the paint too. Look at Coombs. This is such a smooth play in transition. One dribble, attacks the basket. Another play, look at the spin move inside. Ooh, that is a highlight reel play. Mid-range, knockdown for Coombs. She has been impressive so far in this game. And let's look at Stady inside. Keeps that ball high. Look how high that ball is when she catches it. Never brings it down. That is the sign of a smart post player. Pump fake, one dribble, also so smooth. That's the way I would describe both those players for Georgia. On the flip side, let's look at Georgia Tech. Kubai went to work early. Nice hook there off the glass. She can shoot the 3. That's a men's 3. That was way off the line. Didn't need to be that far out. And then Loyal McQueen. She has 7 points for the Yellow Jackets. Just 3 of 9 shooting, but she has been most of their offensive attack today. She's great at finishing inside with contact. Nice floater there. The lefty, they're going to need more from her in the second half if Georgia Tech is going to get back in this game.
Time now for our Food Lion Food for Thought as we take a look at our statistics from the first half. 3-point shot not really there for either team in the first half, but Georgia shooting very well, 53% through the first 2 quarters.
That's right, and Georgia only shot 50% or better from the field just once last year, and now they're shooting 53% in this game. Georgia Tech's winning the rebounding battle. Part of that is Georgia's not missing a lot of shots, so keep that in mind. Only 4 turnovers for UGA. That's big. And Jen, I'm not going to talk about the 3-point shooting because it hurts my heart a little bit, so we'll stay away from that for now. But Georgia did a good job. They forced some 3s in the first quarter. In the second quarter, they went back to their bread and butter. They attacked the basket, they got out in transition, and they scored 26 points in the paint in that first half. Very impressive for the Bulldogs.
Do you think, though, I have to ask you one more time about it, do you think the three-point shot will need to become a factor, maybe for one team more than the other?
For Georgia Tech, yes. They're going to have to get going from beyond the arc. And Lottinen, who is starting the second half, with 3 fouls, is one player that can get going, as well as Sarah Bates. I don't think Georgia needs it. I think they should shoot them when they're open, but no need to force it. For Tech to get back in this game, they're probably going to have to hit, in my estimation, 3 or 4 threes in the second half.
That was a big part of the Jackets' win in Athens last year. They shot very well from 3, 57%, 12 of 21 for the game.
They made 12 of them last year.
Yeah.
A lot of that was Pon and Jasmine Carson. Those two combined to hit nearly 100 threes last year for this team, and both of those players graduated.
McQueen on cue knocks it down for Georgia Tech.
They must have had our halftime in the locker room, Jen, because McQueen said, all right, Kelly, I'm going to show you. They're going to need McQueen to knock down a few more threes. And she was 1 for 6, we mentioned, in the first game. So she can be a bit erratic, but she has a great stroke. That was a great pass by Lottinen. She held that follow through. McQueen already going early in this third quarter.
2,000-point scorer in high school, McQueen, where she was also homecoming queen, class president, one of those do-it-all type student athletes.
You have to be the homecoming queen if your last name is McQueen.
Right? I mean, that's just too good. 8 on the shot clock for Gabby Connolly and Georgia.
Good defense by Hermosa, switching on the smaller guard and stayed in front of Connolly.
Defense wins that possession for the Jackets.
I'm sure that was the point of emphasis for Nell Fortner at the half. Jen, we know defense is the bread and butter for this Georgia Tech team. They held Georgia to 40 points last year in the whole game, and Georgia scored 39 in the first half. I have a hunch that's what Coach Fortner was harping on at the half.
And getting a couple of good looks offensively doesn't hurt either.
Great pass, Hermosa. You're getting Hermosa going inside. This is a big front court right now for Tech with Hermosa and Kubai both in the game.
Travel that time by Caldwell. We'll give it back to Georgia Tech.
Beautiful pass here. Loyal McQueen, she's been scoring. They come over to help and dishes it off to her post player inside.
Another look inside, this time for Kubai. Tie game.
And another beautiful pass, that time from Lottinen. These guards are doing a wonderful job of finding their posts. The posts are catching, keeping the ball high, and finishing.
7-0 run to start the half for Georgia Tech. Stady says enough of that.
Look at Stady smiling after that one, right in the face.
I mean, she held that
Kubai.
hand up, right?
You have to, in that situation. You got to hold the follow through. That's Georgia's first 3 of the game.
Kubai will try to answer. Lottinen, boy, had to be careful. Went over the back of Connolly, but pulled her arms back just in time.
They missed that call. That should have been the 4th foul on Lottinen.
And you know, you talked about it earlier. I mean, you think Nell Fortner can trust a player like Lottinen, who's a junior, who started all but 1 game a year ago, played a ton her first year.
It's really tough, though, in those situations, because as a player, so much of the game is just feel for the game. You're going for a ball, you're going for a loose ball. But it has to be in the back of your mind, especially Lottinen, a junior player. You've got to know you have 3 fouls.
This foul will go against Kubai. That is her 3rd. We saw her draw a charge in a similar fashion in the first half, not this time.
In this situation, we talked about Kubai, right? Trusting your instinct, taking that charge in the first half. In this situation, I just don't think it's necessary. We're already in the 3rd quarter. You know Lottinen has 3 fouls. You've got to be a little smarter. Still keep your hands up, but you can't try to take the charge there, I don't think.
Morrison knocks down the 3.
Georgia with 2 threes now. We talked about how they could not shoot it in the first half, but here they are in the second half, lighting it up.
Yeah, Georgia 0 for 8 from 3 in the first half. Now made a couple, and Hermosa with 4 points in this half, 8 in the game. Javin Nicholson.
Great defense by Kubai. Tech trying to run.
Lost it a little bit there after some good defensive pressure from Georgia.
Lady Bulldogs substitution number 4, Michaela Cools.
The fact that Lottman and Kubai are both still in this game, and here, that's just great defense by Caldwell. Lottman trying to swing the ball through. Caldwell, her hands all in Lottman's space. That's good defense. But the fact that Lottman and Kubai are still in this game, I think it shows that how the desperation level of Georgia Tech. Look, this game can get away from us at any moment. We're just going to have to play Kubai, play Lottman, and trust those players.
Injuries have really hit this Georgia Tech team hard at the start of the season. Now Fortner saying, look, we have 11, but we probably have only had 11 available maybe 1 week. That's certainly not the case today. Just 7 scholarship players on that bench as Kubai drives and hits the floor. Fouled on her way to the basket by Bates, her second.
First team foul.
Bates broke the plane. She came down with her arm. And that's going to be a foul call every time. Good job by Kubai to attack. It does show the grit of those two leaders for this Georgia Tech team in Kubai and Lottman, playing through the foul trouble, still out there putting their bodies on the line, attacking the basket. They know that each of them has to show up in this game. And Tech, look, credit to Tech. 9 points in this quarter. It was a situation where Georgia got momentum back at the end of the half. I thought that Georgia was very much in the driver's seat, but Tech has shown some serious fight so far in the third.
Empty trip to the free throw line. Unfortunate for Kubai, unable to tack on a couple more points for the Jackets. You think about last year, Kelly, with people not quite sure what to expect. Nell Fortner takes over her first year at Georgia Tech, and then boom, Jackets start 5-1 in ACC play, and everybody says, oh, what's going on down there in Atlanta? We better pay attention. Now, they went through a rough stretch, lost 5 in a row, but won 4 of the last 6 regular season games.
They won 10 ACC games. It is not easy to win 10 ACC games. That was a Georgia Tech record. It shows how good Nell Fortner is to come in year 1. And this program was not necessarily rebuilding, but they needed a spark of energy. That's what Fortner gave them.
20 wins last year for Fortner and Georgia Tech. That was the best record by a first-year head coach in Georgia Tech history. Trying to build upon that in year 2, where if there was any sort of a secret last year, not anymore, that this team, even underhanded at times, can play.
Georgia foul charge to number 14, Jenna Stady.
McQueen will be heading to the free throw line when we come back. Georgia Tech down 4.
You thought we were done bringing heat? Wrong. Let the spokes player demonstrate. Hey, yo, Juice, bless him with a cross route.
I got you.
Thanks to Next Gen Stats, you really move like Jarvis every day.
Network women's basketball presented by Food Lion, a 4-point lead for Georgia in quarter number 3 in Atlanta. Coming up next, we cap the afternoon. Number 22 Notre Dame and new head coach Niele Ivey taking on Miami of Ohio at Purcell Pavilion in South Bend. That's right here on ACCN and the ESPN app. Looking forward to seeing what this new look Fighting Irish might look like. And it's really interesting what the SEC is doing this year, Kelly, looking at how they are trying to help with the COVID tracking and keeping everyone safe with those devices that all of the student athletes are wearing.
It's such a new world, right, Jen? You see the players sitting so far away from each other. So that's Sarah Ashley Barker right there. She's a freshman. She knows nothing else. This is what they do in college. They sit like this on the bench, but the SEC is using that tracking technology to try to keep track of players in terms of how close they are to other players. So if one player does test positive, then they might not have to contact trace every person on the team. It's a better way of knowing who is really within 6 feet of a person for 15 minutes or more. It's really fascinating technology, and it's important in basketball when you only have a certain amount of players, and you need 5. You really need more than 5, of course, to go play. But it's very different than football, where you have a much bigger roster.
Yeah. Automatic couple of points there from Stady.
Stady does such a good job of keeping the ball high. Keep an eye, next time she gets the ball, she never brings it below her head. She keeps it high, uses her size, and protects the basketball.
Trying to play some defense now, and Kubai, she is fired up after that one.
Kubai going to work. Let's take another look at this. Kubai, 2 dribbles, gets around Stady. Stady kept her hands pretty straight up. I believe she broke the plane a little with her right arm, and Kubai finishes. Kubai did a very good job on that play of not hooking. Some players would have hooked Stady with the right arm, and that would have been called a foul immediately. That's something the officials look for. So that's a heads-up play by Kubai to not hook Stady when she attacked to the left.
Pulls her team now within 2, and Stady picks up her 3rd personal on the play. Connolly, who hit career number .1000 earlier today with her first basket of the game.
She's been quiet since then.
Yeah.
Only 4 points for Connolly. She does have 4 assists. She's been distributing well, but 2 for 7 from the field.
Kubai, Stady, that matchup again goes in favor of Kubai.
Kubai's taking over the game right now. She knows she's a little quicker than Stady. Stady's been dealing with some back spasms, and Kubai is taking her off the dribble.
Lottonen's been very quiet with those 3 fouls, hasn't scored since the 3-minute mark of the first quarter. The other big key known piece for Georgia Tech on the floor. No Kiera Fletcher, she's yet to play this season.
Checking in for your Yellow Jackets, number 24.
Joni Taylor choosing to take Stady out and put Nicholson and Bates in. What a luxury. You take out 6'4" Stady, you put in 6'3" Bates and 6'2" Nicholson.
It's good to have depth, especially depth with length. Georgia in the preseason picked 8th by the media and 9th by the coaches in the SEC. Georgia Tech, quite a difference in terms of where they were picked in the preseason and where they'd finish in the ACC. 5th by the coaches, 9th by the media.
I found that fascinating. Great defense there by Coombs, but there is a certain level of respect for Nell Fortner. The media picked Georgia Tech much lower than the coaches. The coaches had them all the way up at 5th. And that's because of 2 things. Nell Fortner, who has a heck of a resume, but also Georgia Tech defends. And if you can defend, you can win on the road. You can win when you're not shooting it well. And that's what Tech has done so far in this game. They've come roaring back. They've held Georgia to just 8 points in this quarter, and now they have a lead.
How about that? The ball barely hit the floor as Love put it away. Nice passing and movement off the ball by the Jackets.
Not sure if that's the shot you want if you're Georgia Tech with all the momentum, as we've said, and take a long contested 2. You'll learn as we do more games together, Jen, how I feel about contested 2s. I think they're an abomination. Long 2s, I mean. Long 2s. Why would you take a long 2? Take a step back, take a 3.
How about a little hesitation dribble on your way to the basket? Nice move by Connolly.
Or just get right to the cup and get a layup. That's even better.
I hear you. But if you're going to have that level of difficulty, you might as well add the extra point. I hear what you're saying.
3 is worth more than 2. I know they know that at Georgia Tech.
This is some nice passing on the offensive end right now by Georgia Tech.
Georgia had done a great job of taking away the backdoor cut in the first half, but they caught Tech right there, caught Georgia sleeping and executed perfectly.
We showed the series history between these two heavily in favor of Georgia. 35-7 overall, the Lady Bulldogs lead it, but the last 4 meetings have been split, 2 wins apiece. including Georgia Tech's win in Athens last year by a hefty margin, the largest in series history. Now this game, Georgia led by as many as 11 at one point. Now they trail Georgia Tech by 2. Lottinen lost the handle. It winds up with Q Morrison.
Tech foul charge, number 24,
That was a heads-up play right there by Q Morrison. She got beat, but came back around with her left hand, knocked the ball out, and Georgia was off to the races.
Back in the floor for your Lady Jackets, number 3, Sarah Bates.
Lily, as they call her, Love, just picked up her 3rd personal foul.
3 Yellow Jackets with 3 fouls.
Yikes.
My reaction exactly.
Lady Bulldogs having trouble getting in their groove offensively.
Barker's got to shoot that right there. She forced the pass. She had a wide open mid-range. She's a very good shooter. She's got to knock that down.
Under a minute to play now in the 3rd quarter. Bon Aranaz to Lahtinen. Bon Aranaz takes the 3. Connolly all alone. Big rebound pulled down by Bates, and it'll stay with Georgia.
We talked about Connolly only having 4 points in the game. Missed a floater there. She's only scored 2 points outside of the first 2 she scored in the first minute of the game to reach 1,000 points. She's been quiet. For Georgia to get back in this game, I think they're going to need a little more from Connolly offensively.
Turnover. Jackets looking to take advantage. Lottinen on the run. And 2 more for Georgia Tech.
Beautiful transition basketball. Bates looked up the floor. Lottinen put her hand up, said, I'm open, and she ran hard. That is great transition ball by Georgia Tech. Tech is winning in this quarter, and we'll see what happens on this final possession by a margin of 21-10.
Bates, tough shot in the paint.
Good defense. Let's see if they can get a look off.
They do get it off. Got a little roll around the rim, but not in. And Georgia Tech on a 14-4 run to end quarter number 3.
You thought we were done bringing heat? Wrong. Let the spokes player demonstrate. Nuke, drop some heat on him.
I got you. You ain't never felt Madden like this before.
Sometimes you need a friend.
Georgia Tech shooting 64% in the 3rd quarter to take the lead over Georgia. ACC Network Women's Basketball presented by Food Lion. Tuesday, we'll have some men's college basketball to doubleheader for you right here on the ACC Network and the ESPN app. 4th-ranked Virginia looking to bounce back. They lost against San Francisco Friday night. They'll take on St. Francis of Pennsylvania at 4 Eastern. Then 2-0 Louisville hosts the 2-1 Western Kentucky Hilltoppers at the KFC Yum Center.
Jen, we forgot our matching hats.
Well, we could have just lied and said we had them on. No one would know. Hey, I appreciate any effort at style when you have to wear masks and visors and what else to keep yourself safe. Obviously, a very limited number of fans allowed in, only guests of coaches and student athletes. Everybody safely separated here at McCamish Pavilion. They have done a lot of work to retrofit this stadium, if you will, for their current needs. You can see the benches there. Those are the benches, believe it or not, with all the space between them, all the plexiglass.
I can't imagine having to do that as a player, and I salute these players for all the sacrifices they're making as Stady knocks down the long jumper. Yeah. Such a different vibe on the bench. You can't really hear your coach. Your coach has to yell very loudly to the whole bench, but they have a mask on. Very different vibe on the bench, and these players doing a great job of working through it.
Stady got the best of Kubai that time. That has been a fun matchup all game long, those two going at each other in the paint, and it looks like Stady has picked up right where she left off from last season. Double figures for the 10th time in her last 11 games after that strong finish you mentioned last spring. Won't Aranaz, won't go. Kubai, grab that off the front of the rim, put it back in.
Kubai is such a beast inside. That's her 10th rebound, puts her at a double-double right now. She also has 14 points. And then Stady right back on the other end. That's 17 points now for Stady. These two are a fun matchup to watch.
Georgia Tech clinging to that 2-point lead. Quarter number 4. Kubai looking for a little help this time. It'll stay with Georgia Tech.
It's interesting to watch what they're doing on Kubai. That time Jordan Isaac, she didn't fully double. She helped down in the paint. She kind of dug in there for the ball. But it seems Georgia has gone away. And actually, Joni Taylor told us this in our Zoom call. They didn't feel like they needed to double Kubai. And they didn't want to because they know Georgia Tech has so many shooters on the outside.
Hugh Morrison pulls up right about from the ACC logo and hits it. She's got 9 in the second half, 15 in the game.
And so quietly, right, Jen? We haven't talked that much about Hugh Morrison. Well, I have. I've been trying to tell you guys about her. But just in terms of making big plays, making highlight reel plays, that's not her. But she is a glue player, and she is going to make some important plays for this Georgia team down the stretch. I thought she might have stepped out of bounds right there. Woo.
That got going a little too fast for Jordan Isaacs to hang on.
That was a heck of a pass, though. Hugh Morrison saying, dang, I did everything I could on that play. This is what you want in a rivalry game, Jen. 55-55. Under 8 to go. We love it.
All right, so Kubai not on the floor at the moment. She's going to get a rest. Hermosa came in. It's Hermosa and Won't Aranaz for Georgia Tech inside.
I'm guessing Fortner is hoping that she can get to the media timeout without Kubai and then put her back in for the under 5-minute stretch. We'll see if she feels like Tech can get there without her.
You know, transition defense was something that Nell Fortner talked to us about being really important. And I was just thinking, Kelly, we really have not seen this Georgia transition game get unleashed.
Especially in the second half. I thought Georgia was better getting out and running in the first half, but the second half, defense has been the emphasis. Only 10 points for Georgia in that third quarter, as we mentioned. And Tech doing a very good job of getting back and picking up ball in transition.
Leah Love. Was some contact as she drove to the basket. Do have to apologize. It is a little difficult to hear sometimes the whistle from where we are. Bit of an adjustment for us.
It definitely is with the officials in their masks, but this was a great play by Love, and Barker just a little late on the dribble handoff. Good job by Love to use her body to initiate contact.
Reminder that you can get the latest news and information from the ACC each morning. Great way to start your day with Packer and Durham. That's 7 a.m. Eastern weekday mornings on ACCN and the ESPN app. 2 for 2 on that trip for Aaliyah Love. She has 6. Georgia Tech back out in front by 2. Barker committed the foul on the other end, took the shot, bailed out by Stady with the rebound.
Again, you'll see Stady on this play grabs the rebound, keeps it high. That is such an important skill. That's something that Stady has developed. She's 6'4". If you keep that ball high, there are very few people on the opposing team that can get to it.
And she's an excellent free throw shooter when she gets there. 89% from the line last season. That was second best ever in a single season in Georgia history.
I know it's a stereotype, but most of the time, post players are not the ones setting free throw shooting records.
Right.
I hate to put that on the post community, but it's still very impressive for Stady. Post player or not, 89% from the free throw line is very difficult to do.
Loyal McQueen, the freshman, being thrust into perhaps an even bigger role than she would have anticipated coming in, with Kiera Fletcher being sidelined to start this season.
She has been thrown in the fire with Fletcher out with an injury. Loyal McQueen has had to run the show for Tech.
You get the feeling her response has just been, bring it.
Oh, no doubt.
Morrison lost it, got lucky, gets it back, wide open in the paint, but traveled.
Q shuffled her feet right before she went up with the layup. That's a good call by the official. A little sloppy in transition there for Georgia, but watch her feet. Quick little shuffle. I think she anticipated more contact than she got.
Yeah. Agreed. Q Morrison from Riverdale, Georgia, McEachern High School. She's a high school All-American. Probably seems like a long time ago now for the graduate student. Lahtinen, short. Love flings it back in. Good effort to keep it alive for the Jackets.
One thing to notice, Joni Taylor has switched Nicholson onto Kubai, so Stady's no longer guarding her.
Aranaz, a little out of control on that drive. She does get charged with the foul. As Morrison trying to provide that spark with her defense, but as we look at this play, do you like that change on Kubai defensively?
I do. I think that's very smart. And by the way, that being called a charge, I thought was interesting. They're calling the push-off. Morrison definitely wasn't set, but they're calling the push-off. I think it's very smart from Joni Taylor. You need Stady in there offensively as she takes a quick breather right now, but she was having trouble guarding Kubai. So you switch those two players, and Stady gets to guard Aranaz, who is just not a threat to shoot from beyond the arc.
Tech foul charge to 00 Loyal McQueen.
Now that foul was going to see if it went against Kubai. It does not. It goes against McQueen.
That is quite beneficial for Georgia Tech in that situation. Kubai thought that might have been called on her.
That's just a second personal for McQueen. Kubai playing with 3, and Michaela Coombs on the line for Georgia.
One thing to watch, Jen, I know we still have a good amount of time left in this game, but when you look at the foul trouble for Georgia Tech, Tech needs to win this game in regulation. We're already maybe looking to overtime, how close this game has been, but they can't afford to let this thing go to overtime with all their foul trouble. They've got to win it in these next 5 minutes and 23 seconds.
It's like the situation the Georgia Tech men found themselves in the other night. Was it 4 overtimes, I believe?
Hey, I'm game. We could do 4 overtimes, more basketball.
We have missed basketball, so we are excited to be back, but that was a lot to ask, and Georgia Tech actually losing that game in the 4th overtime to Georgia State, the men, that is. Aranaz trying to prove you wrong, that she is an offensive threat, although you did say from outside she took that one to the paint. Here is Connolly launching. 7 straight missed field goals by the Yellow Jackets as Georgia just a 1-point lead. The free throw line could have a say in this matchup as well. Lahtinen had the look.
Gotta make that layup if you're Lahtinen, and she knows it. We're getting to crunch time here. Both teams look a little fatigued. It's very important to execute flawlessly. When you're fatigued in the half court, you have to be extra focused so you can run your sets.
Caldwell to
great move
inside to Nicholson, but
it's 2 missed layups back to back.
I guess they cancel each other out.
Neither coach calling a timeout. I think they're waiting for that media timeout, which should be the next dead ball.
The Lady Dogs finally do get to run the floor a bit, and Bates the beneficiary.
I was about to say I'd call one here if I was Nell Fortner.
Well, she agrees. The Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets down 3. Nell Fortner wants to talk things over.
Hold up. You thought we were done bringing heat? Wrong. Let the spokes player demonstrate. Nuke, drop some heat on him.
I got you.
You know what we call that?
Next-gen stats innovation. They play like they do in the NFL innovation.
DeAndre Hopkins sound like he'll stutter step through your screen innovation. This generation changed the game out there. So Madden had to change it up in here.
You ain't never felt Madden like this before.
Sometimes you need a friend.
By Food Lion. This is our home, that's our Food Lion. Georgia Tech trying to protect its home, but just one made field goal this quarter. Kubai has been a big spark helping the Jackets take the lead into the 4th quarter, but they've gone a bit cold and now trail Georgia by 3.
Kubai's back in after that media. They go right to her. Great play inside by Connolly to knock it away.
She tries to get the full reward on the other end and can't.
Connolly has had 2 of those threes in transition. If she had made either of those, they would have been big swings in momentum for Georgia.
And Connolly hasn't had her best offensive game today. Kubai has, though, on the other end for Georgia Tech.
Kubai sets you up perfectly for that transition, Jen, because Kubai is having a heck of a ball game today.
16 points now for Kubai.
Stady's such a good 3-point shooter. Kubai has to guard her all the way out there by the logo.
5 on the shot clock for Georgia. Stady gets it. Caldwell the rebound over to Stady. That's an easier shot.
That was all Caldwell. She made that happen inside. Great hustle and a big bucket for Georgia.
21 now for Stady to lead the way. 9 of 12 from the floor.
21 on 12 shots. That'll get it done.
Take that percentage. Love gets just stuffed by Stady.
Rejection.
Foul on the floor against the Jackets. We'll take a quick break. Just 2:15 left in Atlanta. We've got a good one in Atlanta. Georgia leading Tech by 3, and Jenna stayed to play today, Kelly Gramlin.
Absolutely did. She's a senior. She does not want to lose to Georgia Tech in the last year of her career, and she does such a great job of keeping that ball high, using her size, has excellent touch around the basket, and can knock down the 3 ball. That's why she's such a tough guard, because you have to guard her all the way outside the 3-point line. She also has 4 blocks tonight. That was a big-time play inside.
8 rebounds as well, just to add that to her stat line. Pretty good game for the 6'4" redshirt senior center out of Cumming, Georgia. So coming back home to play at Georgia after she started her career at Maryland. This is her 3rd season, though, with the Lady Bulldogs. Free throws, as we said, could be crucial. Caldwell misses the first.
It's a big make there to make it a 4-point game, and both these teams are good free throw shooting teams. Georgia 8 for 10 today, or 9 for 12, excuse me, and then Georgia Tech 10 for 13. It might come down to which team can shoot the ball better from the free throw line. Got to find a way to get Kubai a touch here.
Interior just locked up as Kubai got it, but had to come out beyond the 3-point arc to do so. McQueen over to Kubai at the free throw line, who was waiting for it. Too strong on her jumper. Hermosa somehow rips that away. Up over the front of the rim and in.
What a play by Hermosa. The Twin Towers, Hermosa and Kubai. Hermosa's cleaning it up there for her senior. That was a huge bucket for Georgia Tech. They needed that.
Stady has been the go-to player. She tries to set up Mallory Bates. That time turns it over.
Can't force that high-low right there. Just reverse it. Get back into your other action. A rare mistake from Stady. Let's see if Georgia Tech can capitalize.
Hermosa not looking for her own shot out there. Now she will. That did go up over the top of the backboard, so it will be considered out. Georgia basketball.
That's a tough break for Tech because Kubai had great position inside to grab that rebound. If you're Georgia here, you want to run the full shot clock, hopefully get a look to Stady inside, possibly a 3-point look for her, but you don't want that right there. This is going to be Georgia Tech's ball, it appears.
Well, they will take a look at this. You are able to look and see who the ball last went off of. So our officiating crew will try to get a clearer picture of that situation.
That looks like Georgia Tech ball to me. Right off of Connolly's fingertips at the end.
Yeah, Lottinen got a hand in there, and then the question is just whether Connolly did touch it again after, and you can tell the frustration on her face. I mean, this is a senior too. She got her 1,000th point tonight, but today, excuse me, but you know she wanted to come in here and get a little revenge for last year, and also just continue getting this season off to a good start.
She has struggled to shoot the ball, especially from beyond the arc, 0 for 4. She's had a few threes in transition that looked good from our vantage point, but rimmed out, and those would have been big shots for her team. But she has to put this behind her. If this ends up being Georgia Tech ball, which I think it will be, she has to have a short memory. Forget about that play, get back on defense, because that play did not lose this game for Georgia by any means. There's plenty of time to make up for it, especially on the defensive end, if you're Connolly.
So watch closely. There's a swipe, but actually did even Lottinen touch it? I mean, it's tough to see from this angle.
Tell me if I'm looking at it too simply. I think that's Tech ball, but that's why the officials get paid the big bucks.
They have to make that call. Joe Vasili, Carla Fountain over there trying to make it right. And obviously they recognize this is a crucial time of the game. They want to get it right. Call on the floor was Georgia Tech ball, and that is confirmed after the review.
It's a good call by the officials, and we appreciate them doing their due diligence, reviewing that play. That was also a pretty timely review. So I'm sure both the players appreciate that too, because you never really want to stop play when you have a game coming down to the wire. But they looked at the monitor, and they got it done.
All right, Kelly, here we go. Your thoughts on what Georgia Tech wants out of this possession?
I think you got to find a way to get the ball to Kubai, just like that.
That'll do, huh?
Now Fortner and I are on the same wavelength right now.
18 now for Kubai. That was a quick bucket, ties this game.
They're helping on to Stady. They don't want Stady to beat them.
That looked like it was supposed to be a lob to Stady, and the basket got in the way. Now Georgia Tech with a chance for the last shot.
Fortner has a timeout. Looks like she's not going to use it. She's going to trust her players to make something happen here. Pick and roll with Kubai. Look for Kubai on the roll.
Lotman will take it herself. Won't go. Kubai can't get the rebound. Now Georgia, now Joni Taylor will call a timeout. 4.7 seconds left for the Lady Bulldogs to draw up a winning play.
I know it didn't work out for Tech, but I like that call from Fortner to not call a timeout, to trust your junior, in Lotman to make a play. They sold out on Kubai. They weren't going to let Kubai touch it. Lotman gets a good look. I really don't mind how Fortner coached that. I thought it was the smart play, but then on the flip side, Joni Taylor had to call a timeout there. That was smart because you can advance the ball, which is key, and you can get a better shot. 4 seconds, 4.7 seconds, excuse me. That's not a lot of time, but that is still plenty of time to get a good look for one of your shooters. Connolly, even though she struggled today, I think you'd be looking to get her the ball, and maybe some pick and pop action with Stady. Stady's 1 for 1 from beyond the arc. She has a great stroke. I just have to imagine that Tech is going to sell out to stop Stady. I would make someone else beat me at this time.
Yeah, 21 points in the game for Stady, who's been pretty unstoppable when she's had the ball in her hands. How about this? We told you were in for a treat today. We are all so grateful to have some basketball to play. We get to see this great rivalry game, and here we go. Tie game, under 5 seconds to go. Georgia trying to exact some revenge for Georgia Tech's win up in Athens last year.
You don't need a 3 if you're Georgia. You do not need a 3. You just need to find a way to score. It's tough with 4.7 seconds because you feel like you're going to need to rely on your guards a little more. You don't have as much time to get into an action and get Stady the ball.
Seconds ticking away. The shot will not go, so guess what? We need some more time to decide this one. Clean, old-fashioned hate is what they call it between Georgia and Georgia Tech. Cue up overtime coming your way after the break.
Hold up. You thought we were done bringing heat? Wrong. Let the spokes player demonstrate. Nuke, drop some heat on him.
I got you.
You know what we call that?
Next-gen stats innovation. They play like they do in the NFL innovation.
DeAndre Hopkins sound like he'll stutter step through your screen innovation. This generation changed the game out there. So Madden had to change it up in here.
You ain't never felt Madden like this before.
Sometimes you need a friend.
Students of color typically do not have access to high-quality computer science and STEM education. I joined Amazon because I wanted to change education, and I am impatient. Amazon gives me the resources to change the world at a pace that I want to change it. We provide students STEM scholarships and teachers with support. I'm a fighter, and I'm fighting for all students.
I'm on the way from Atlanta. Here's how we got here. These two teams just refusing to give up an inch as we find ourselves knotted at 63 after 4 quarters.
We're so lucky to get to see this rivalry game. There's a lot of teams out there not getting to play their rivals. The football teams and the men's basketball teams for Tech and Georgia are not getting to play. So we are lucky to get 5 extra minutes here, Jen.
Not so sure all the players on the floor agree about feeling lucky, but we sure know they do at least want to come out victorious, and both still have a chance to do that.
Well, I mentioned earlier in the broadcast that I didn't think Tech could afford to go to overtime with their lack of depth, but Tech did a great job because none of these players have 4 fouls. I assumed that at least one player would have 4 fouls heading into overtime, and Kubai Lawton in. They still only have 3, so that's very good news. And who else is it in there? Love as well.
Yeah, that's
good news for Tech. I assumed at least one of them would have 4.
I think most would have probably joined you in that assumption.
But credit to those players, because Lawton had 3 in the first half. She's done a great job in the second half of being smart.
No go for Stady that time. Lawton will take it down the other way.
Good pass.
Got herself a pretty good look. Little short, but was fouled.
Great pass by Kubai. She draws attention. She hits Love. And Coombs thought Love was still at the 3-point line, but Love was sneaking in. It's a smart play. She gets herself 2 free throws.
Aaliyah Love at the line, shooting 2.
Aaliyah Love, the 6'1" freshman from Kansas City, Kansas.
I don't know if you could hear that, but she said, that's off.
I could.
Sometimes you know. Sometimes you just know.
I was debating if it was her or if it was one of the Georgia players who is grateful to see it hitting the back of the rim.
It is smart to say that in that situation, if it would have been off, if you know from the second you release it, it's smart to say that to tell your teammates and give them a sign. Hey, I'm going to miss this. Let's go battle for the rebound.
It's been over 4 minutes without a field goal for Georgia. Morrison took that shot at the end of regulation, trying to change it. Jump ball to call. As Barker and Hermosa go down.
Good job by Barker attacking the glass from the weak side. Barker, just a true freshman. For Georgia Tech, we've got a couple true freshmen in the game because Tech just doesn't have the depth, but Barker getting some important minutes right now.
Love trying to go back door, and the defense sticking right with her. Lawton, a nice pass to Kubai in the paint, over Stady, too strong.
That was a triple team on Kubai at one point.
Barker.
That was a great look in transition. Georgia's had so many of those threes in transition. If they had knocked down 2 or 3 of those, we wouldn't be in overtime, frankly. That's been one of the main issues for Georgia, is they've had great looks and they haven't been able to capitalize.
Georgia 2 of 16 from 3. Georgia Tech 3 of 17, so not much better. Hermosa wants to get a little closer, but she's got to get past Stady to do so. Block number 5 for Stady.
Such a great play by Stady to not foul, and whew, what a move.
And Barker is coming up with some big-time plays. She's taken some shots and missed a couple. That one she makes.
It takes a lot of confidence as a freshman. She was 0 for 4, but she takes that shot in overtime at a key moment. I'm impressed.
McQueen tried to answer, the true freshman for Georgia Tech, but she ran into a wall called Stady.
I'm not sure about this call.
Substitution for the Bulldogs, number 22, Mallory Bates.
They're going to have to review this. We're under 2 minutes and we're in overtime. That is a close situation. They called it Tech's ball.
And officials will get together. It's our second review here in the waning moments of this game.
Wow, they reversed it.
Yeah.
Without going to the monitor. That's interesting.
It looked like they must have been, someone amongst the crew must have had a very clear look where they had no doubt.
Lady Bulldog basketball.
Saying that Georgia did not touch it here, so that it'll stay with the Lady Bulldogs.
It's a tough one. It looks to me like that's off Georgia Tech. But with Coombs' hand in there, that's a very close play.
And looked like Carla Fountain was certainly ready to proclaim it. And maybe what it was, Kelly, is that they got together, they changed what will now be considered the initial call on the floor, where originally we saw the referee who was on the baseline, he pointed toward Georgia Tech. They conferred, they said now it'll be Georgia. So that is what they're going to have to look to overturn with video if they see enough to do so.
Makes sense. I was wondering, they were probably going to have to go to the monitor at some point just to double check. And I do think right call.
Stay with Georgia, so under the basket for the Lady Bulldogs.
And now both Tech and Georgia have benefited from those reviews.
The way you want it to plan out, really. You just want it to feel equitable. Those close plays that are hard to call. Stady off the end. Kubai grabbed the rebound and was out.
Georgia foul charge to number 3, Sarah Ashley.
That was a perfectly executed blob, which is baseline out of bounds. That was perfectly executed. Stady had a great look, and she just left it short.
Georgia won. Into the double team. I think that is 7 blocks for Stady. And 2 of them have come, 3 of them have come in the last, minute and a half.
If we keep going, if we get another overtime, we could be approaching triple-double watch.
Bates, 7 on the shot clock. Can anybody else score but Stady? Morrison says, yes, I can!
Wow, what a big shot from Q Morrison. Georgia needed that 3. There's just 17 in the arc, but that did not stop Morrison on that play.
2-possession game now. Georgia Tech on 4. Defense heating up as Coombs takes it away for Georgia.
Coombs is such a good defender. She showed skills offensively in the first half, but second half she has been on the.
Lottinen just picking up her 4th foul.
Back-to-back massive plays for Georgia. Knock down the 3 and then get the steal where Georgia Tech needed any sort of good look at the basket. Now you're at the free throw line. As we've mentioned, Jen, it always comes down to free throwing in some way, shape, or form when you have a game like this.
Coombs, the transfer from UConn, proving she could play an integral part in what Georgia team does this season.
Ice water in her veins. Huge free throws from Coombs. She has had a great floor game, Jen. 10 points, 2 boards, 3 assists, and 2 steals in 31 minutes.
Not bad.
She has been excellent. In the first half, as we mentioned, she was scoring the ball really well in transition. She's taken a little bit of a backseat to Stady in this second half, but she has been a down defender for the Dogs in the half, and she's done a great job on Lottinen. Lottinen has struggled today, 2 for 11. She does 4 assists and 6 points, but Tech needed a little more from Lottinen in this game, offensively, without Kiera Fletcher.
Georgia Tech trying to figure out their way back into this one now as Georgia's extended its lead to 6. Just 1 point in overtime for the Yellow Jackets.
You don't need a 3 right away if you're Georgia Tech. Round 6, you just need to score as quick as you can on this possession. Then I would imagine we'll see Nell Fortner apply some pressure, some full court pressure, take a bucket on this possession. And both teams, Jen, 3 for 17 from the 3.
Yeah.
Neither team has shot it well, but Georgia finally made a timely 3 with Q Morrison. But I don't think Georgia Tech will 3 right away.
And you know, you talked about, we saw how distraught Gabby looked after that one close play toward the end of regulation. She lost it out of bounds. It gave Georgia Tech the ball. So you have a short memory. Think about Q Morrison, who took the shot at the buzzer that did not go at the end of regulation. Didn't didn't seem to be much hesitation just a few moments ago.
That's a great point, and that's a senior. She has that mentality. She knows you just have to live, play the next play. She missed a tough shot at the buzzer, but silky smooth on that three from the top of the for her. She gets 16 points game. She has been absolutely excellent. It's been State and more than 2 seniors, 2 graduates led Georgia in the second half.
This team's so experienced. You don't often hear about a team having 4 senior starters coming back, much less 4 redshirt seniors or graduate students in the roles. Connolly, Caldwell, Stady, and Morton. That great core for this Georgia Lady Bulldog team.
It's so valuable to have that experience. There's no doubt about it. And I believe Barker's still out there as well. So you've got Coombs, 3 seniors, and Barker. It says a lot about Barker that she's still on the floor.
Yeah, for sure. Sarah Ash, freshman out of Birmingham, Alabama. Hit a 2-point bucket in the time period. Now Georgia Tech off the timeout will advance the basketball.
We haven't seen much Bates in the second half for Georgia Tech, but keep in mind she's in the game right now. Oh, she's wide open.
Had her defender
open for a second.
We saw it. Georgia Tech did not in 3 instead. The follow-up from won't go by, but it will be a ball possession. Georgia, that's a take for Georgia Tech.
That's another block for Stady. Another great play by Stady and the touch by Lottinen. She misses the box out there. We'll let it slide because she got the block.
Quick foul. As Georgia Tech didn't waste any time. They'll put Georgia on the line.
And I know Stady and Georgia, they're a little fit, but if we get another overtime, we could be triple-double. I'm just saying. If Georgia wants to make a ferocious comeback, it could very much be on triple-double watch. She has 7 blocks, 12 boards, 21 points. Big free throws right there.
Yep, knocks them both down, and that moves Joni Taylor just a bit closer. She's sitting at 99 wins in her Georgia coaching career. This her 6th season. Put a little icing on the cake to get number 100 against your in-state rival.
No doubt about it. I was so impressed with Joni Taylor when we got to talk to her before the game, of course over Zoom, but she has young kids. She feels like a mom to all the kids on this team. And so in order to get the most out of her day, she wakes up at 4 a.m., people. 4 a.m., you heard that right. And she said she's read about multiple successful people, including Kobe Bryant, who wake up that early to get the most out of their day. And she models her lifestyle after that. Kudos to you, Coach. Kudos to you at that 4 a.m. wake-up call.
Now, the real question, Kelly, is I believe you told her that you were going to try to model her behavior and you were going to get up at 4 a.m. on game day today. Did you follow through with that?
I lied. That was a lie. I was just trying to suck up to Coach because that is not what happened this morning.
I appreciate your honesty now. So 32.7 left in Atlanta, a big hill to climb for Georgia Tech, who once again advanced the basketball after the timeout, after the made free throws. They go right to Kubai. That blocked again.
Believe that is a foul.
That one's going to be a foul.
There.
Okay.
She doesn't love it.
I mean, she has 7 blocks.
Right, you can't get greedy, Stady, but that was a great sidelines out of bounds play from Nell Fortner. They pulled Bates up as the decoy, got the help side out of the paint, and were able to get a one-on-one for Kubai right from the inbounds pass. Best thing you can do right now if you're Tech is score while the clock's not running. That was excellent execution.
Kubai knocks them both down. Now for a little defense.
Tech is going to need to force some turnovers. There's no doubt about that.
Georgia.
Georgia calling a timeout. So they can advance the basketball as well if they choose. It's been a good one, Kelly. Back and forth. We've seen Georgia lead by as many as 11 in the first half. Georgia Tech came storming back in the third quarter. Forced it into overtime, tied at 63 after regulation. And perhaps it's just a bit of that experience showing itself for Georgia in this overtime period.
That, and I think it's numbers. You got 7 players if you're Georgia Tech. This game has gone into overtime. Georgia has so much more depth. That is showing up right now. These 7 Tech players have played their hearts out. There's no doubt about it. But it's tough to go 45 minutes and beat a team that is able to sub and rotate like Georgia is.
Lahtinen has 4. She wants somebody else to come foul. That's why she was mad. Finally, Bates does come over and do it, but Lahtinen wanting to stay on the floor for Georgia Tech.
Her teammates have to know that. I'm sure that was discussed in the huddle. Lahtinen, you can't foul. You have 4 fouls. So teammates have to do a better job of knowing the situation there and helping Lahtinen out.
I think Georgia knew it. I mean, they gave it to the player who was being guarded by Lahtinen. Forced her into decision, and her decision was, hey, somebody else come help me out here. It was Bates who committed the foul. So Sarah Ashley Barker, the freshman, on the line for Georgia. As you said, Joni Taylor showing her confidence in this young player, keeping her on the floor in these crucial minutes.
How about that freshman? 2 games in, steps up to the free throw line, knocks down the first, misses the second. I jinxed her. Barker family, that was on me. But she has played some big minutes for Georgia.
Georgia Tech needs some points in a hurry. Bates is the best 3-point option. Off the glass works today, people.
The bank is open for Bates. I'm not sure if that was planned, but hey, it's 3 points.
Love got her hands on the basketball, but it goes out of bounds, stays with Georgia.
That was a huge shot. Georgia Tech is right back in this. If they can get a steal here, Georgia has to be very careful.
Morrison is fouled by McQueen.
Tech foul charge to number 0.
Bates, she set her feet. She was, you know, great form there, great job with her feet. I'm not sure if she planned on the bank, but any good shooter will take it. All right, if the ball goes in the net, I would love to ask Bates post-game. I'm sure she would say, oh yeah, I was trying to bank that. That's what you have to do.
Kelly, you know that's what she's gonna say, but you also know she definitely did not mean to go off the glass.
I don't know. I want to give her the benefit of the doubt. Shooter.
I'll allow it. 2 more free throws for Q. Morrison's played a solid game for Georgia. Bates will try one again. Georgia basketball.
Georgia has shot it well from the free throw line. That's been big for them down the stretch, and looks like Tech's gonna let them dribble out the clock.
So Georgia comes into McCamish Pavilion, gets win number 100 for Joni Taylor in her Georgia coaching career, and win number 2 on this season, taking down their in-state rivals. So that will do it from Atlanta. For Kelly Graham-Lake, I am Jen Hildreth. So overjoyed to be bringing you some basketball. Now let's head out to Notre Dame. Tyler Denning, Debbie Antonelli on the call.